Hello, my name is Julia Widdop, and I'm an interviewer with What Should I Be? If you'd like to get more information about What Should I Be, please visit our website at www.whatshouldIbe.me. We provide complete and free access to a wide variety of interviews spanning many different careers from all over the world. Today I'm speaking with Natalie Tinti. She is a 13-year-old author from California. So, Natalie, at what age did you first realize that this was what you wanted to do?
Well, in the end of third grade, I decided that I really should write a book. And that's actually how I published my first book, Selling Your Friendship. I never knew I wanted to write until I realized that this may be the best way to spread my message to kids.
All right. When you were 9 years old, you did that, right?
Yes.
And can you try to explain why you felt drawn to writing a book in
Well,
comparison to anything else you might have done?
well, the reason why I wrote a book is I noticed that a lot of people read the books at that time
Mm-hmm.
more than electronic. and now, and the reason I did that was also because I wasn't the best at speaking, and it was the easiest way since I kind of did like to write. So
Mm-hmm.
it was the best option for me.
Okay. And what what educational or experience requirements did you have to go through in order to get started?
Well, I've been in school for 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. That's just a lot. No, 9 years. Wait. Yeah, it was 8 years.
Uh-huh.
And that actually helped me a lot. And I went to camps on writing, which helped on my writing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that actually really helped me.
Oh,
And also, I did a lot of writing in my spare time.
and how did you find camps to go to?
Well, I have a friend, and she goes to a lot of camps at her school. So she invited me, and I decided to go. And we actually, together, we published a book where she wrote the story, and I would illustrate it for her,
Oh,
which helped her a lot
mm-hmm.
in comp and, well, language arts and academic classes. And it inspired me to write more books and write more of Sewing Your Friendship series.
Right. Tell us a little bit about your school. You go to an unusual school, right?
Yes, I do. It's specifically for art. It's called Orange County School of Arts, and I'm in that conservatory for visual arts. And we get to make 3D figures and paint, and so it's a lot of fun. And I'm so happy that I go to this school.
And do you still have to do math and all that?
Yeah, we have like the most of the school, it's separated into six, but we have like blue days and gold days, and it switches every day. And it's like an hour and 30 minutes for each academic classes, and then we have art after. But on Friday, we don't have any art classes, sadly. I wish we did.
So, an hour, how many hours are you in school each day?
Well, let's see. So I go to school at 8:15, and then I end school at like 3:20, I believe.
Okay. And how many classes is that per day?
So it'd be four classes, counting art, and then on Friday it's just three.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And so tell us about your books. You have more than one, right?
Yes, I have about 11 books in the Sewing Your Friendship series, and then I have a parenting guide, and then I'm going to be publishing soon more books that isn't for Sewing Your Friendship series. But I
Okay.
still need to publish Sewing Your Friendship. Some of them, yes. We're a little behind.
Well, tell us about the parenting guide. How did you write a parenting guide? From a kid's viewpoint?
Yeah. Well, more like my point of view, but I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure if it's a kid's point of view because I think mine's a little different.
Uh-huh.
But I noticed that a lot of my friends, they were having problems with their parents, especially one of my best friends. Like their mom or dad didn't trust them and they didn't pay attention to them. So I wanted to write a book about it and send it to parents, which
Uh-huh.
it goes around paying attention to your child and like trusting them and how what you do now is important for their future later on. And I think it's a really good parenting guide for parents.
Okay. And you told me earlier that a lot of it was about a lot of your books are about the power of imagination. Could you tell us a bit about that again?
Yes, okay. So in my second book, the Power of Imagination, it's separated into two parts. And it's about imagination and creativity. Now, the power of imagination is a really strong power that we have. But we usually end up using it for negative and like, oh no, she's gonna fall. And stuff that we don't want it to be. Or things that we don't want to happen. And we should be using it for good things, like positive on like, oh, she's gonna stand back up and she's gonna be so happy and she's gonna buy cookies and something happy and like something that you want to happen. And in the second book, they heal a friend because they all want her to get better. And it's just about how the power of imagination is a really strong power that we have.
To heal a friend.
Yes, to
That
heal a friend.
okay, and that in that one you talk about what you can do to with your imagination to
Yeah.
heal a friend. Anything else? Any other
Um,
ways?
yes. Also, you could take them to the hospital, which is another one. But, um, also, what the girls do is they make a creative story, which also helps because in the story, she gets healed and it actually happens. And plus, she's paying so much attention, making a story and having a fun time, that she kind of forgets about the pain, which also can cure in a way.
Yes. Yes. That's true. And then you, besides writing and you speak.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Where do you speak?
I speak for bookstores, workshops, let's see, in front of schools. And if you ever want me to do that for anyone, just contact me at natalietinti.com or Facebook or my Facebook, Natalie Tinti, or Google Plus, and ask me if I want to do it, and I will totally do it for you.
Okay, that's great. So, what kind of groups ask you to speak? Parents?
Well, I've had Girl Scouts. I'm gonna be doing it for summer for a camp.
Mm-hmm.
I've done Girls and Boys Club and also like daycares and just like Barnes and Noble. And
Uh-huh.
it's a lot of fun watching the kids being inspired.
Okay. And you teach workshops?
Yes, I do.
Tell
Mostly writing workshops.
writing workshops?
Yes, and illustrating
Tell us about those. They sound so fun.
too. They are a lot of fun. Like I'm gonna be having one tomorrow at I forgot the address, but it's on the website. Yeah. And what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be doing illustrations, and I'll show them a way on how they can draw eyes, and then they do it themselves, and they can put it in their story. And they can also like they draw along with me, and they get to share with their friends and share how they would draw too. And it's a lot of fun seeing different ways of drawing. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. I'm so excited.
How many kids are signed up for this workshop?
Well, it's not really on this one. They just come and show up, and I just give it.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, last time it was about 6 people. Not that many, but it's funner to have a smaller crowd. So
Well, yeah, for drawing, that's quite a few.
yes.
What do you like best about the field you're in?
Well, I do love to draw a lot. I've been drawing ever since I was like a child. I get it from my mom, but also I do like writing a lot. But then I get kind of bored of it because like typing, you're like, ugh, and then and then you're like playing the computer, like, ugh, you know. And I also love speaking, but sometimes my mouth gets really tired. So drawing is pretty much the easiest for me.
So, drawing is your favorite.
Yes, I would say so.
And so, what do you like least about this field?
I would say the fact that I have to study for speeches and memorize it, because that sometimes isn't the funnest. Or,
Mm.
yeah, sometimes like I have to get glamorous, like actually fix my hair and wear not days, which sometimes I wish I could just go in like my PJs. But it's all worth it. It's to inspire the kids, and it's fun doing my job.
Yeah. And what about money? Are you actually making money doing this, Natalie?
Well, I am, but I don't really pay attention on that field, well, area. I'm more onto the message, and I feel that showing my message and getting kids inspired is more important than getting money from it.
Okay. And what is it actually like to work and live day to day as you in your career or your field? Can you take us through an average day or week and explain what it's like to be you?
Well, so first off, I start out with going to school, which is 65 miles away from my house. And then I do normal stuff in school, write and study and other etika, and that's how I say it. And then I have my visual arts class after. Then I go home, which is 65 miles away. Well, actually, we have a room now, so it's about 10 miles away. So I stay in that house, like rent a room, and then I study and I write my new book. And we practice speeches, and it's the same thing over and over again about every day. But then sometimes I have book signing, so it's all like cramped together. And then there's sometimes where I'm just lazy and I just get a rest. It
You get worn
changes.
out from all that.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the most difficult or challenging things that you have experienced on your journey in getting to where you are today?
I think one of the most hardest thing for me was speaking in front of people sometimes because I get very nervous and I'm like, oh, how if I'm not able to do this correctly? How if they're not going to get my message? And I worry about it. And sometimes it's hard to stand in front of them and be able to talk like normally. And I just kind of like, get all nervous. And it's like really hard, but I'm getting over it every day.
And
Yeah.
what are some of the tips to getting over that? How did you get over that?
Well, the first thing that I was doing, which was I'm gonna finish and it's gonna be good, and people are gonna be inspired, and I'm gonna be able to say like, um, to what's the word, word, be able to say my message, and they'll be able to accept it, and just like, and also like, you got this, Natalie, you can do it, and that actually really helps me a lot, and like believing in myself. That's very important. Yeah, the tip is believe in yourself and all will come.
So you say positive affirmations to yourself before you have to get up and speak?
Yes. I mean, if you say negative, it's not going to work very well. Like, oh, you're not going to make it. You're like, well, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that wouldn't work at all, would it?
Yeah.
Any practical tips like a glass of water or anything?
Let's see. Sometimes on speaking, like when you're nervous, you talk really fast
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to say words. And what would be helpful is to go like Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper or something like that to help you like get ready or like jump around, It
Uh-huh.
helps.
So you actually give yourself a little pep talk about talking slower or something like
um,
that?
my mom tells me that. She's like, you need to talk slower. I'm like, okay.
Okay. And what is it about your field looking forward? What is it about it that appeals to you the most?
I would have to say the thing that I love the most is seeing kids being happy and like going through the book and be like, Mom, that girl looks like me. And like seeing them making friends. It's, oh my gosh, it's like amazing. It's so fun to see kids, changing because of me. And I'm just so happy. And I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life for sure.
For sure, you
Yeah,
haven't you
sure.
haven't considered anything else like being a children's doctor or something like.
No, I can't be a doctor. I couldn't do that. But I have looked into doing being an actor, and I've gone to auditions for commercials. So I'm also doing that on free time as well.
Okay, so you might consider being an actress.
Yes, I'll do that. Like, my life will be separated into a bunch of jobs. Like, I'll be a dancer, an actor, a princess, you know. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a princess since I was like 3 years old. So why not?
Well, why not? I think everybody, they say that most people have three or four careers in their lifetime, so
Make it 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
why not? What tips or suggestions could you share with someone who might be thinking that this career would be a good fit for them?
Well, if someone wants to be a speaker and an author or an illustrator, I think for actually any careers, I think if they really want to do it, they need to be having fun when they're doing it, enjoy themselves, and if they have to make sure that they want to do it. I mean, it's not because they want to do it for the money, you know.
Right.
And yeah, and I think it's just having fun. It's really important, and going forth for your dream and believing in yourself. It's really important, and you can make that career and go forward.
And who would you say? It sounds like your mom helps you a lot.
Yes, right.
So would you say she's your mentor?
Yes, she helps on driving, editing. Like, oh, you should add like color more here, like on illustrations,
Uh huh.
or that doesn't sound very right. Even though my mom's not the best in English. She comes from Russia.
Uh
It
huh.
still really helps me because if I say like duh, she's like, oh no, it's the, you know, like texting, you know, like texting too much. Oh no, not GTG, got to go.
What about your brothers and sisters? What do they do?
I have an older brother. He does parkour. He's in college, and he's also really good at oil painting. And I
Mm.
have two other sisters, and they're all both older. And I have one who's in San Diego, and she has a job. I'm not sure which one it is, but she has a job. My other sister, she's getting her master's in college. She's about to be finished, and she lives in LA right now.
Okay. And do they? I'm sure they're very encouraging.
Yes, they are. They're like, oh, good job, you know. I love them all so much.
Do they check up on your website and tell you what they think?
No, I'd be embarrassed if they did because they're like, oh, Natalie, you know, you're doing this again, you know. You know.
Have they done that before?
Yes, they have.
Okay. If someone wanted to follow in your footsteps and accomplish everything that you've done to this point, what things would they need to do and go through, kind of like a roadmap to success, in order to make it and hopefully be able to achieve a similar position and or accomplishment level as you've done?
Well, I would say that they need to be wanting to do it. They have to be themselves while doing it. They need to have a reason for doing it. And my reason was because I noticed kids were lonely, and that's how I started. And so I believe that they need to have a reason why to motivate themselves and be like, this is the reason why I'm doing it. And I'll go forth because of this reason. And I want people to know because of this reason. So
Uh-huh.
having a reason is really important.
Because otherwise you wouldn't have focus. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah.
Okay. And your focus and your whole reason was because you saw lonely children.
Yes, and I noticed they didn't have like great self-esteem, and they doubted themselves, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't have friends was because they didn't think they were good enough, and they thought they had no talents. So I came to them, and I would help them and show them that they were really good at something, and they were marvelous. And that's one of my inspirations is that you are a marvelous person, and you do have talents. And a lot of kids don't notice that. That's why I'm writing the books to spread this message. I want more kids to notice.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be good for grown-ups too.
Yes.
Do you ever
Yes.
speak to adult groups?
I have not a lot, but I have once, and it was on imagination story.
Uh-huh.
And what we would do was I would ask them a question, and they would just write down the craziest thing that comes to mind. So like I'd ask them, what does your character look like? And they'd be like, oh, brown spots in the green alphabet. You know, it's something like completely odd. And
Uh-huh.
then I ask them, so in life, what do you have a problem with? And they're probably like, oh, well, I'm not organized. And so then I ask, so your character is writing down a story. I mean, writing down a bunch of oh, wait, no, let me say that.
Okay.
So your character is writing down a bunch of ways how you can solve it. What are some of the reasons? I mean, what are some of the ways they solved it? And they'd be like, oh, he got fairies and they all helped him, or oh, he slept all day and it just happened, or he climbed a mountain. And so, and then they pick one, and somehow it would actually make sense in a way.
They would.
Like one girl, yeah, one girl, she wanted to be organized, and so one of her solutions was getting bunnies. So what she did was she got a bunch of little girls that were helping her, like her daughters, and she dressed them as bunnies, and they would clean up for her, and it actually worked out.
They
So
actually,
funny how it just like happens, you know, imagination and logic and reality comes together, and it can like make like a solution, and it's unbelievable.
in an unbelievable way, huh?
I know.
So tell us about the book you did with your best friend.
It's called The Fashionistas, and it's about this one girl with black hair, like curly black hair, and she wants to be a fashion show. When I was young, I really liked fashion shows. That's why in my first book there was also a fashion show.
Uh-huh.
And in her story, The Fashionistas, she has this magical dragon. And it's just about them, their journey on making the stuff and how they keep on failing, kind of. And then in the end, they end up winning, and they ride away in the dragon, you know, off to the fairy tale, you know, happily ever after.
How cool. Now, 11 books. What all did you cover in those 11 books? That must have, was there a different subject for each book?
Yes, there was a lot that I covered, actually.
What are
So
some of them?
some of them were, there was imagination, it was about friendship, also it's about bullies and how sometimes bullies have a problem, and so they tease someone else because they don't feel good about themselves. And then also on parenting, how, you know, paying attention. And that's when after that, like that area, I decided to do a parenting guide. And so I also have parenting guide also in Song Your Friendship. Kind of
Okay, so
stuff.
there's two. So you covered that twice, once in that series.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the other subjects?
Also, let's see. So creativity, which is very important, and differences, and how everything happens for a reason. Like you meet a certain person and you do that for a certain reason. Or something may happen because something will come out of it and it will become more successful than it was before. And it's just everything will happen for a reason. I have that a lot in my book. And imagination also a lot on that.
Okay.
And friendship.
Right. And so where could people buy your books?
They can buy them at natalietinti.com, or even just ask the librarian if they can order some, and they can get them, you know, borrow them from the library.
Mhm.
Also, you can contact me and we can talk together because I love meeting new people. We can,
Okay.
yeah, Natalie Tinti Facebook or Natalie Tinti Google Plus, or my YouTube channels, and I have a lot of fun videos on there.
And
And
that's
also,
Natalie Tinti also?
yes, you can just type on Natalie Tinti on Google and a lot will show up.
Okay. Can you spell that out for us?
Okay. Natalie Tinti.
Okay.
Natalie Tinti.
Okay. All right. Well, this sounds very interesting. I'm sure. What would you say to kids who think they have to wait till they're out of school to start doing what they want to do?
They don't have to wait. They can do it now. If they really want to do it, then they will go forth for it. And if you put it for tomorrow, it usually won't happen. I would know that because I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it usually doesn't happen tomorrow. So I think you should do it now while you have the time.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the viewers before we wind this up?
I would want to tell them that they have the courage to include others. And so if they see someone who's lonely, they should ask them if they want to be part of their circle. And also, if you are that lonely person, I want you to be brave enough to be able to accept that request. And that is a very important message that I have in my first book.
Because some people don't accept friendships that's offered to them.
Yes. Because sometimes people they don't believe in themselves and they doubt themselves and they don't think they're good enough, and that's why they may be lonely and they don't accept it.
Okay. All right. So that's a very important message for everyone. Well, thank you, Natalie, so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.